Hey guys, what's up? I'm doing another YouTube video. It's been a long time since I've done my last one, and hopefully I can get back into it. But today we are reviewing Arteza Real Brush Pens. These are really unique and cool markers. I don't want to spend too much time talking without doing stuff, so I'm gonna be discussing about these throughout the video. But right now what I wanted to show you is just how these markers can blend. They're really cool and unique markers. They're basically like watercolor markers, and you can get like this nice texture with big strokes like that, or you can get really fine strokes if you're careful when they're dry. I'll discuss more in the video about when they're wet, but right now this is dry, and just wanted to show you how good the blending is. The blending is absolutely phenomenal. I was very impressed about how well these can blend. I mean, that transition right there is just so nice. And they're picking up the moisture of the ink from each other and blending. This is without water. So that's what that one looks like without water. Now I'm going to do this one with water. Give a little more space. And this is what also comes in the kit. It's a little cartridge with, you fill it up with water, you just unscrew this and then run it under a sink, and then you can kind of gently squeeze it, and you can see it fill up here, and it will add water into this tip. And you can see how it's very similar to watercolor. It's basically watercolor, which is really cool because you don't have to deal with the mess of watercolor. And then one thing is the dark colors will usually overpower the light colors, so if you want to pull this yellow over here, I would just wipe this off a little bit on a separate paper of what you're actually working on. And then you can kind of pull this, and then if you wanted to pull it to a light red, you just kind of fade it out like that. And you could do the same with the yellow. And you could really pull the colors out like that. So you could keep working at it until there's no line, but you get the idea of what they can do. Really cool. But yeah, I don't want to waste more time because, you know, I am going to be talking a lot about them during the drawing. So yeah, let's get right into it, guys. Alright, let's talk about these Arteza brush pens. When I first got these, I was honestly a little skeptical because I'm a huge fan of Copic markers and I like what I like. I'm comfortable with Copic, so I wasn't expecting to be impressed much by these markers. However, I was so wrong. These markers are so unique and so fun to use. But before I go further, I want to say that these are not a direct alternative to Copics. Arteza actually has another type of marker called Everblend that seems more like their version of Copics. So in the future, if I get a hold of those, I can look at those compared to Copics. But looking back at these markers, I was quite pleased on how versatile they are. You can use them without water or with water, and you'll get a completely different look. Obviously, when using water, it feels much more like painting with watercolor, and when doing so, you're going to have less control with where the color settles because you are, in fact, dealing with water. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but just something to look out for if you were to get some for yourself. So when I was doing this drawing, I was really just enjoying the markers and just really having fun with it. I mean, I knew how they could handle, but I just honestly wanted to just enjoy the ride. That's what I was kind of doing. I was having fun with them. Let's see what these markers can do, and just, you know, that's basically what my mindset was going into it. As you can see on GOKU's face, you can really get that watercolor texture look, which is really cool and something that makes these markers so unique. I wasn't worrying too much about the water feathering the color along the edges, as you can clearly see on the tail, because later in the video I go over and I ink it, so some of that feathering is covered up. My main goal for this piece was to really focus on pushing how much I could blend the colors. As you saw earlier in the video, the colors can blend really well. So I really wanted to try and get a nice purple rim light along the edge of GOKU and blend it with the orange and black. One thing I would change next time, based on this experience, is I would give more room for the purple on his orange suit, because I felt like the orange really dominated the purple a little bit too much. So other than that, I think the blending was absolutely fantastic, really fun, and just awesome how the water just kind of, you could just push it around wherever you want. All in all, I think these markers are a really neat set to add to your art arsenal and are just extremely unique. Fun is honestly probably the best word that I could use to describe these. Like I said earlier, these aren't really an alternative to Copics. I think if you have Copics, you would still enjoy these, hopefully as much as I did. But if you're on a budget, these markers are really good. $34 for a set of 48 markers, which is insane. You know, like markers usually, that's less than $1, much less than $1 a marker. A lot of markers range from, you know, $2 to $3. And then if you're looking at Copics in a set, they're like 5 something. By themselves, they're like $8. So again, $34 for what these can do is really, really good. So, rating these markers, we are going to rate it on versatility, blending, control, price, and quality. Versatility, I would give it a 9. These are really versatile. You can use them dry, get a totally different look. Use them wet, get a different result. Really, the only issue that I have with these is that you have to use them on watercolor paper. Of course, if you use them dry on a different piece of paper, the ink will put down on the paper, but you're not going to get the blend that you can get on a watercolor paper, and you can't really use water at all on a different piece of paper because that paper will not be able to hold the water, and it will warp, and it will twist and turn and just mess up. Blending, I'd give it a 9. Absolutely incredible. You can blend black to yellow very smoothly, which is pretty insane. Going from black to something as bright as yellow is not an easy transition, and it does this very smoothly. The only issue I have with blending is that the darker colors can sometimes really dominate the lighter colors if you don't have enough room. So if you're, you know, filling in a small little space, you got to make sure that you do a lot of the light color, and you know, it's not 50-50. Control, the dry, I would give an 8 out of 10, and the wet, I would give a 6 out of 10. Like I said earlier, you don't have much control when it's wet, but that's kind of the fun thing about it. Price, 10 out of 10 easily. $34 for 48 markers for what these can do is just awesome on Arteza's part. Quality, I would give 8 out of 10. They feel very good. The brush tip holds ink and its shape even when the marker has been used quite a bit. These tips are not nibs, they are like bristle brushes, so they can be split apart and you can like smash them down, but again, I've been kind of doing that and they still hold. They still look new and they still hold that tip, and from a distance they do look like a nib, but when you get close you can spread them out. So now that I've finished the coloring, I'm just going to go over the edges with Arteza's fine liner to clean up some of the feathering. That concludes this review. If you guys are interested in purchasing these markers or other products from Arteza, you can find the link in the description and receive 10% off using the coupon code I have provided. The link is an affiliate link, so what that means is if you specifically use that link to purchase products from Arteza, I get a couple bucks that I can use for future art supplies or future videos. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Hopefully I can start being more consistent with uploads and show you guys all the cool new stuff I've learned. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next video.